Cheers, let's go. So you want to be a van lifer, do you?
So do we.
Yeah, we want to be van lifers. Well, fortunately, you come to the right couple. Experts on van life, number 1 and 2. I was a joke just because we know so little.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope they caught that.
I just want to make sure you guys caught that.
The number one most important thing to know about
Learn
van life.
from our mistakes.
Learn from our mistakes. Everything, I mean, you could probably tell this because the name is van life, but everything's about the van, right? And it's not about the conversion. It's about the actual van.
Yeah.
A bad van will make your van life experience a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
A good van will make it so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So be willing to wait. That's a huge, huge thing
Yeah.
because everyone's going to get so excited about this like we did and just want to go do it now and find an amazing deal like we did and just want to go do it now, then have to replace the engine like we did.
And also, sprinters are hard to find these days because a lot of people are buying sprinters. So you might have to drive across the country to get a sprinter. That's okay. Like, it might be worth it to you. I think it would be worth it, actually, to get a really good van.
I agree.
Make the sacrifices. Second thing, and this is something I didn't even know existed before we decided to do van life, is the community.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredible, and it's getting more and more and more robust. I feel like every day.
Yeah.
Every day there's a new awesome video. Every day there's a new awesome, like, you know, couple who's moved into a van who's making awesome content about it. Like, there's so many websites now that give you, like, all the links that you need to know how to build and, like, all the products. There's such a community now, and it is amazing. So tap into it.
The reason we were talking about community in the first place when it comes to pre-conversion is that the community will help you make your van better.
Yes.
Like, if you are going to convert your van, if you're super handy, you could do it by yourself for sure, and that's like one fun thing. But for us, like, we had a buddy really do us a really big solid and help us out. There are going to be people who are going to help you out if you ask for it. So
let's give our buddy a shout out too, because the guy who built our van actually, like, goes around the country now and builds other people's vans.
Yeah, we shout him out all the time, but shouts out to Brett Lewis.
Yeah, we'll put his stuff in the description box. Message him, tell him that we sent you. And
so if you like hanging out with good old beer drinking Texas boys, he's your guy. If you don't, then that's like on you. But also, there will be someone for you.
So after you have your van, you've chosen the correct van, you've done all the research, then now it's time to do your build.
You've chosen the correct good old beer drinking good old boy to help you build it. At this stage in the build, this whole thing, we're assuming that you've saved a little bit of money. Like, I just want to preface that, because one tip is to have some money. Because if you go into debt over this, I see that being a much less enjoyable experience. Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to lease your van, like, we didn't choose to do that, but if you do that, that's just like leasing a car. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
In the world.
But if you're going to go into debt for your build, I would say try to save as much as possible.
Probably not the chillest thing to do.
Yeah.
So this is a very strong suggestion from us. This is another learn from our mistakes, kind of like the buying a good van. We really like the layout of this van. It's very functional for our living. It is not very functional for hosting, which is a major bummer. Like, we're going to probably redesign a couple of things here. We'll probably do a video pretty soon on what we're going to do. But it's like 80% good or 90% good, right? But a couple little things, like, we didn't think about having a couch space to host people. So now, like, you know, we have a little couch over here, but it's really good for chilling out and cooking, but it's not really good for a dining room or whatever.
Right.
So draw up a million mock-ups of your design. Like, you better be obsessed with it. You better be drawing it up over and over and over. But
and try to figure out too, like, what are the kinds of things that you're going to want to do in your van.
Totally, yeah.
So are you going to want to host people, or is van life all
Maybe
about
you hate people.
escaping people?
Yeah, sometimes we don't like people either. So if you hate people, that's true. But if you hate people, this is probably a great design for you.
Yeah.
Make it really frustrating for people to try to let's be here.
But yeah, think about it. Like, are you going to value cooking? Make sure you have a good kitchen set up. Are you going to want to work in your van? Make sure you have a good, solid desk setup.
Yeah.
We definitely have a good, solid kitchen setup, I would say. We really like ours. We don't have a good place to work. And that has been kind of interesting, because I think we would work in here more often if we could. But we end up working in coffee shops.
Spend more time than you think with the layout, because here's the deal. You could use bad materials and you could do a cheap design. But if you've got a good, like a cheap build, but if you've got a good design, then you can improve it all the time, right? So you could just, like, replace the fronts of your cabinets with better wood. All of a sudden, hey, your design's upgraded, right? If you've got a bad design, doesn't matter how much cool stuff you use. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we've definitely seen some vans that are just like super expensive, man. Like they drop tens of thousands of bucks on that conversion, and they're crappy designs. Like I would never want to be there, you know? So a good design always wins. It's gonna trump good materials time after time. It's gonna save you a lot of money if you don't act up and, you know, get some cheapo material.
Yeah.
Or some...
Oh, also, kind of on that note, I do feel like this wasn't something that I realized when we were building it. You don't have to have it perfect the first go round. You can improve it. Like, you totally can.
You will be improving
you
it.
will be. Absolutely. And so you can continue to add things or redo things or whatever.
Yeah.
It does not have to be perfect at all when
true.
you first build it.
Another thing in your conversion. Again, cheap materials aren't going to kill you. There are a couple things you don't want to skimp on though, right? You don't want to go cheap with them. If you go for temporarily cheap with them, that's okay. But if you're going to live long term, there's probably a couple things that you want to do well by yourself for. Stuff like bikes and tools and camping gear and stuff like that. That's stuff we're upgrading over time. Even like a swivel seat we're going to put in pretty like sooner or later or whatever, right? Upgrading over time. What we don't upgrade over time is our battery. So like if we didn't have a banging solar setup and a banging electricity setup, it would be way less fun to be in here. You know what I mean?
True.
Like it would be a pain in the butt every day. And we figured that out because we were saving up for it for like a month and living in it. It was just not fun. Like it was straight not fun to be in here. And then now we have electricity. It's fun to be in here, right?
Yeah.
So
true.
that's one thing. Another thing, this is probably like the notch down on importance. So not as important as a solar setup, but would probably be like a really good refrigerator because stuff like plumbing, you don't want to mess that up, but like we'd have some cheapo tanks, cheapo vinyl wiring, cheapo faucet, whatever. That's like works perfectly well. But a fridge, if you get a bad one, leaks, smells, not pulling a ton of power, all kinds of business.
I would say for the expensive items, like the van itself, solar, fridge, anything like that.
I would stop there.
Yeah, probably those things.
Yeah.
Those I would say don't skimp on.
Don't skimp, baby. Don't skimp.
It's gonna be painful because you're gonna have to pay a lot of money for them.
Yeah.
But
shouts out to our Goal Zero battery and our ARB fridge and our.
They work awesome.
No shout out to the van. Shouts out to the other two because we pay good money for them.
Poor Morrison.
Yeah, I know we give him a bad rap. He works
really
perfectly well, and we love him a lot. So.
We just had to pour a lot of love into the guy.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
It does really feel like you got a pet that like was super abused or something like that, and you've had to just like cuddle the pet and like work on potty training a 4-year-old dog. It's like that kind of thing. With Morrison, it's like he didn't work for crap. I almost said a bad word. He did not work at all.
I'm mad at you. We had to do a retake.
I know. He did not work at all.
Yeah.
But we put so much blood, sweat, and tears. True blood, sweat, and tears into this guy.
Yeah.
And now he works awesome.
He works
and
awesome. So.
we've gotten to know him. I feel like we know him. We like know what different smells mean. Is that weird?
That's really weird. That was the line right there. This is one we were both going to talk on just quickly, is just be willing to take your time with it. Like, it's fun to do the conversion. You don't want this to be a super stressful process. The reason I say that is I feel like we took some time with it, but we weren't really in the position of our lives to fully take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And now I wish I want to do another conversion for the sake of converting it. Like I want to convert another van. I feel like we've had some practice. I would do some things different this time. I would do some things the same this time. It was just fun. Like it's fun to be out there freaking building your home, you know?
Yeah, it is really fun.
Yeah. After you have purchased said van, you have converted the van, you are about to make them ready to go. Here are a couple of things that we would suggest when it comes to living on the road. This one is not as important because it's super key getting the right van. That's the most important. Next on the level is converting it right. Next is living, because you'll freaking figure out living.
Yeah.
But give you a little leg up. We will.
These are some things that were like unexpected that we wish somebody would have told us about what actually living every single day in a van.
One thing, it's a mega big thing. Living on the road is going to destroy your schedule. It's going to obviously, but it will destroy your habits too. And this is fine and good and all, like this is fine, but you have to rebuild everything from scratch.
That's very true.
And I am the kind of guy that I love consistency in my life, and I love like feeling like I'm self-improving, right? And I'm a little bit obsessive about it. And then Would you say?
Yes.
Yeah. But then I like get out of my little self-improvement bubble and I'm just in a wreck here and I'm like in a daze. Like, what am I doing here? You know? Well, it's not really about what you're doing here. It's about just waking up on time. You know what I mean? Like that might sound a little dumb, but it's just in the van, everything changes, right?
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Like it's really hard to get up in the morning because it's cold.
Yeah.
And
you're
like
wrong.
we have to, have that little extra self-motivation.
Well, extra self-motivation. And a big one, the way our jobs work, some days we have the entire day packed, right? Like 40 hours of work in that day. We're not going to get it done. But what we end up doing is waking up, dragging ourselves to a coffee shop, zombieing our way through the morning. We get halfway through, we've just made a plan for the day. That's negative. But on the flip side, some days we have nothing scheduled, right?
Yeah.
And those are the bigger ones because it's so easy just to kind of beat bop around, you know?
Honestly, for me, those are the days that like it's easiest for me to just work. Like I feel like
I agree.
all the time because like you have to make the decisions for yourself.
Right.
Because like we honestly don't necessarily have a hard and fast schedule that we have to work.
Right.
And we have so many other things that we're working on. We're working on YouTube. We're working on school. We're working on all of these other things. And so it's so easy to just justify, okay, I have this extra 4 hours.
Right.
Let's go work. Instead of really enjoying life and like making yourself go
I see what
out
you're saying.
and like have go on a hike. We're actually going to go on a hike for the first time in weeks today. And we could have just kept working, honestly. We could have made like 3 more videos today. But instead we're making the decision because we know ourselves and we know what we need to do. We're going to go on a hike. You know what I'm saying?
I do. The thing you should extract from that is that you've got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to take it slow. You got to be willing to take your time. Your finances will be a mess. Your schedules will be a mess. Your habits will be a mess. But you'll be just fine. You'll be a van lifer. So anyway, get out here on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we should get out of here.
Yep.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.